office, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's all this stuff? So.
Hi, everyone.
Get out of here.
Good morning, Greggs. How are
Hi,
you?
Greg. I'm doing well, thank you.
Hello.
Good morning, Vern.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Jim.
Greeting.
How are you today?
I'm vertical.
Great.
Ideal.
Devin, are you going to do the attendance as well?
Yep.
Great. Thank you very much.
Happy to. Hey, Pete.
Hey, ho.
How are you doing?
No, I think I'll be all right. Doing good, doing good.
Yeah.
Kevin or Devin, this is Vern, do you have that link for the Ronald McDonald charity gifts that I'm going to talk about? Do you have that?
Yep, I've got it. Thank you for checking.
And I'll just have you put it up on the screen then when I call for it.
Yeah, happy to.
Great. And do you know how Heather's last name is pronounced?
Heather's here, so she can tell us.
Lampe?
There you go.
Lampe.
Lampe. Thank you. I didn't want to bungle it up, so.
Won't be the first or last time though, so it's okay.
Thank you.
Let's see.
So Vern, you're going to talk about the Ronald McDonald House?
I will if you allow me to, sure.
Yep, you betcha.
I'll raise my hand when you call for announcements.
Great.
And Vern, is it this one?
It is, yes, that's the one.
Yep, all right.
Perfect.
I'll just kind of go down through that and I'll kind of explain what each one is, and you kind of just scroll down with me if you don't mind.
Yep, I'll follow along as best I can. Catch me if I...
You'll be fine.
Hey, Christina Kimberly, how are you? Hello, LaDonna.
Hello. How are you?
LaDonna.
Good. Are you ready for your moment?
I am.
Good.
Hopefully.
Hey. I don't know if I've seen Bill Oglesby yet. He's going to speak today too. So.
All right.
I don't see him yet.
Okay.
Aaron Schaefer.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. He's here now.
We're gonna.
Oh,
Great. Perfect. Hey, Bill.
yeah, is it?
Yeah.
So Bill Oglesby, I've got your video queued up. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Hi, Martin. This is Bill Oglesby.
Hi, Bill. How are you? I have your video queued up.
Oh, good.
So we'll call on you and then you let me know when you want to run it.
Okay. You can just go ahead and run it if you want.
Do you want me to run it at the beginning, but are you going to speak as well?
I don't really need to say anything other than that.
Oh, come on, Bill. You're getting a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Got it. I will come to you and I will share the video and then I'm going to come back to you. Or do you want me to come to you and then go to the video?
Is it live?
Correct. That latter way.
Latter. I will come to you and then go to the video.
Here's another
Ah.
mine. If it belongs to me, we say mine. And why?
You didn't know.
All right, it's about 11:57. We are recording, right, Devin?
Yep, we are.
Thank you.
Here's another word.
Oh,
Mom.
stop it. You
Belongs to me.
Don't give it all away, LaDonna. Don't give it all away.
Let me have it.
Sure. We can mute you, LaDonna, and then you can work through it if you want.
Oh, thank you.
I'll
Okay.
they're on it. Hey everybody, if you're just joining, if you could go to the chat and sign in, that helps us with attendance. And welcome. Thanks, Robin. Mustangs, yay.
Hello, Mustins and Shelly, David. Great to see you all. Aaron.
Melissa, Diane.
You're going to have to speak to me before I hear you.
Good morning, everybody. We will get started at about 3 minutes after the hour because we always have kind of this surge of attendance right at the top of the hour. So thanks for joining us. And as always, if you can go to the chat and sign in, that would be appreciated. If you're a guest, please make sure that you sign in as well. Let us know who you are a guest of. And if you're a visiting Rotarian, please sign in. Let us know what club you're from, and welcome. Benny Hawkins, good to see you.
Thank you.
And Doris, great to see you as well.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, Eric.
Hey, Barb.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
To sign in, all I have to do is click on that, right?
Yep, click on that chat button, and then there should have a little box pop up.
Yeah, and then what?
And then see where it says type message here. Click there,
Yeah.
type your name.
Welcome everybody who's just joining. We're going to get started about 12:03 to get everybody in. And if you're just joining, if you could go to the chat window and sign in, help with attendance, that would be great. And if you're a visiting Rotarian, put which club you're joining us from. And if you're a guest, if you could say whose guest you are. Good to see y'all.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We're going to get started in about 2 minutes. Just a reminder, please go out and sign in through the chat button. Good morning, Tita. It's good to see you.
Good morning. Trying to get organized here.
Well, today I had a little excitement, a little internet challenge at home. So I kind of picked up everything and I came into the office. So hopefully all will go well. So. Chet, were you able to figure it out?
Yep. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Good morning. Great to see everybody. There's Anna with an exclamation point. Anna! It's not just Anna, it's Anna.
Yeah, well, I just want you to know how enthusiastic I am, Barb.
That is great. Just keep it. Keep
Or
it.
you know,
Bottle
if you
that.
really want to get my attention, you have to yell.
Right. Anna! If only we could bottle the Anna Moyer Stone enthusiasm. We would make a mint. Oh, look at you.
Thank you.
She's
My Thursday
representing.
mug.
Very good. Bravo.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Devin, you think we're ready?
I think so.
Okay, great. So thank you, everybody. My name's Barb Thomas, and I am your president for this year, this potentially partially virtual year. So I want to thank you all for coming, and we actually start our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you're able to join, please stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty and justice
for all.
Great, thank you all. So as you know, here we are in a virtual Rotary world. And so first off, before we really get going, I am actually gonna turn this over to Devin Van Holstein, who's gonna give us a few Zoom tips for our meeting. Devin?
Yep, thanks Barb. So a couple of things you need to know. One is that there's a chat function. So while the meeting is going on, you can have a whole other meeting in the chat bar. I don't recommend it necessarily, but what I do recommend is typing in your name so that we can keep track of attendance. That really helps. Another thing is that if you click on the participants button, you can see who else is here, and then you can also have an option to raise your hand. So when it comes to announcements or questions at the end of the presentation, that helps us identify who is interested in asking a question or has an announcement. Another thing that you'll want to look at, there's reactions down at the bottom, which is also kind of fun. So you can clap, or what's the other one? Ah, yes, you can give thumbs up as well. So if you like anything, that's one way to show your approval. That's all I've got. I got the thumbs up from President Barb. So back to you.
You got it. Now, does that thumbs up, does that just disappear on its own? Okay, great. So thanks, Devin. And so with that, we want to make sure that everyone is welcome here at the Iowa City Noon Rotary. And so Devin is actually going to help us with some introductions. So if you are a guest or a visiting Rotarian, what we ask is that you go into that participants button and look for the button that says raise hand. So if you raise your hand, then Devin will call on you to be introduced. So Devin, I'll turn that over to you.
Thanks, President Barb. Janet Lambertson, would you unmute yourself and introduce yourself?
Yes, I had to turn my mute off. Yes, Janet Lambertson from Iowa Falls, incoming president for this year, still doing Zoom meetings. Thank you for letting me sit in. I always find it quite educational to sit in on other people's Zoom meetings. I learn a lot.
Glad to have you. Welcome. I am not seeing anyone else right now with their hands raised. I know we've got Gary Wicklund from the Vail Club here. Anybody else, you can just unmute. Seeing none, welcome to our visiting Rotarians, and back to you, President Barb.
Great, thanks so much. And so the next part of our meeting will actually be the opportunity for any of our members who have a Rotary related announcement. And if you'd like to do so, then please raise your hand and then Devin will call on you. So I'm gonna flip it back to Devin once again. Devin?
Yep. Vern Folkman, you have an announcement.
Thank you, Devin and President Barb. I appreciate you letting me do this. Am I coming through all okay?
You're perfect.
Good. I'm a member of the Ronald McDonald Golf Tournament, as well as about 4 or 5 other Rotarians. And we are struggling a bit this year because of the fact that with this COVID, I mean, we don't know exactly. We postponed our golf tournament till the 28th of September, thinking that that would probably work for us. We're not sure at this point, but we're still planning for it. But because of that, we have a little problem with getting a lot of in-kind gifts, you know, from different businesses in the area because of the fact that they're not doing the best, and we hate to go through them and ask them to give us some kind of a donation that we can auction off or we can give away or bid on. And so Linda Farkas actually came up with this idea, which I think is a perfect one. It's the different things you can do as an individual member of the club to give to the Ronald McDonald Golf Tournament. And they start as low as $20, as you can see there on the screen. A donation of $20 provides a toy for one child. And if you want to do more than one child, you can go 5 of them for 100 or whatever. But if you go down right to the right-hand side there, you'll see a toy for one child, $20. You just put your number in there, and then at the end, you can check out. The next donation would be $35, which feeds a family of 1 for a day. And again, you could do 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever you'd like. The next one is $75, I believe. It's a donation. It covers 1 night for 1 family. There you go. Thank you. And same with that. You put in how many you want to do, or just do 1. And then the next one I think is $150, and that's a donation provides fruit and vegetables for 1 week for a family. And then the last one is $350. No, I think that's the second last one. $350 is a donation that helps operate a family room for 1 day. And then the last one would be $5 25, which would donation covers 1 week for 1 family. So if I could urge all of you Rotarians to look at your pocketbook and see just how much you'd like to give. We'd love every Rotarian to give something, and no gift is too small. So appreciate that, and we'll plan on the 28th of September unless something continues to go wrong here, and then we'll notify you. But we're still going to have the fundraiser. So thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Vern. Our next announcement is from Dave Brown. If you want to unmute yourself, Dave.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Hey, I was just going to remind people, I've got a few volunteers for the Environmental Concerns Committee, so if this is something you're interested in, please let me know. I'm in the middle of writing to you, Ruth Ann. I apologize for not getting back. I'll get that back here real quick. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. That is the last of our raised hands. Anybody else with an announcement? Hearing none.
For all their hard work.
Okay. Back to you, President Barb.
Great. Thanks so much, Devin. I do want to mention to everyone that we are going to be doing kind of a membership brainstorming session. And if you're interested in participating in that, please reach out to me and I can share some information with you. The one thing that we're going to try to do this year is about every other week, we're going to ask for one of our committee chairs to provide a committee report. This gives you an opportunity to learn more about the committees that make up our Rotary Club, and it gives you an idea of other ways that you can actually get involved. And so today, I'm going to turn it over to LaDonna Wicklund, and she leads up the I Can Read Committee. LaDonna?
Thank you, President Barb. I get to be first. This is wonderful. So the committee is the I Can Read Songs Literacy Project. We have 11 committee members that work very hard and diligently and that really believe in literacy. And what we do is we gift literacy materials, early literacy materials, to the kindergarten teachers in our community and to the kindergarten families. And so I'm not very techie, so I'm just going to show you. This video with a brochure, simple brochure, goes to the kindergarten parents. And this book with songs inside and activities goes to the kindergarten teachers, along with charts that they can use with their children. Okay? So I'm going to attempt to show you one of the songs. This is the best I can do. I'm not that techie, so let's just see if this works. It's one of the songs that teaches the My Word.
If it belongs to me, we say my. M-Y. If it belongs to me, I say my. If it belongs to me, I say my. My dog, my cat, my baseball, my bat. If it belongs to me, I say my. If it belongs to me, I say my. My puppy, my fish, my tadpole, my wish. If it belongs to me, I say my. If it belongs to me, I say my. My birthday, my cake, my friend, my snake. If it belongs to me, I say my. If it belongs to me, I say my. Let's write my in the air, let's write my. Let's write my in the air, let's write my. Down, up, curve down, flat, short, flat, long, high. Down, up, curve down, flat, short, flat, long, high. Down, up, curve down, flat, short, flat, long, my.
So interesting. I'm sorry that it was all backwards. That's what happens when you hold an iPad up to the computer screen. Anyway, you get the gist though. The songs teach the children to read and write words, and then they can actually read little sentences with the words, so it boosts them into reading. Why this is important: there are lots of little children out there who may not have a lot of print experiences in their home, or who are coming from a different language background and have to learn English as well as all the other skills. And so this helps them, as well as most kids, because kids love to dance, they love to sing, they love to have a good time. They don't even know they're learning. It's very, it's just a real engaging way of boosting them. So we have done this since 2008. Where we started with the 10 low-income schools, and after that we found out the other schools wanted the materials as well. So we've been fully implemented since 2009. And fully implemented means if a school requests the materials, we've been able to give them materials thanks to the generosity of Rotarians. And we gift about 1,000 copies a year. That's the number of kindergartners that are in our area. What else can I tell you? Our Rotary Club gives $1,000 towards this every year, and the Downtown Club gives $130, so they provide materials for one classroom. Then there is a little gap because we need to raise about $3,000 total every year, and we have been having, here we go, I don't know, literacy champions parties, which many of you have attended. This one was at Connie and Charlie Funk's, and then there was one at the Buchanan's the year before. But lots of Rotarians have opened up their homes to these parties, and then we've raised the money we need and we've implemented the project. So thank you, Rotarians, for all being a part of that. I do want to tell you, so now we're in this COVID problem thing, and I was able this year, during this entire COVID thing, to get my book revised so that it is more of a workbook. And I think that if I can reach the teachers this year, this will be very helpful for them, because they can give the families this, and then they can help the families work with their children at home. So I'm hoping that this is like the moment when this will be very valuable, and our club will have an even bigger impact than we're already having. It's a great committee. We have a lot of fun. The Literacy Champions Party, we invite people, we provide food, we deliver all of these materials. It's just, it's a fun committee. And we welcome people who are interested in literacy and like to cook and like to have fun to join our committee. So thank you so much, Rotarians, you're great.
That's great. What a great committee this is. So if you're interested in helping literacy, which is one of Rotary's 7 main areas of focus, please reach out to LaDonna because I'm sure she would welcome you aboard that committee. Next, we are going to continue with our moment of gratitude and positivity. And today we will be receiving that moment from Rotarian Bill Oglesby. Bill?
Bill.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes,
You're on.
I'm on. Okay. Over the years, Rotary has developed many materials, many media materials, pictures, videos, and so on, about the history of Rotary and about Paul Harris and his life and his activities, and about membership development. And over the years, I have been able to obtain lots of these films and movies and so on. And it had come to my attention that it's possible to get these as downloads from Rotary, which I've done, and I thought it'd be a good idea perhaps to share some of those with the club. So Barb, I've given her one of these, and she's going to bring it up, and we're going to take a look at it.
Back to you, Bill.
Okay, thanks, President Barb. And if this looks interesting to the group, maybe we can have some more in the future. Thanks a lot. Back to you, Barb.
You bet. Thanks so much, Bill. So one thing I want to do before we move on to our program is just to give you a little bit of feedback on some of the information that we gathered from the survey that we did with our members. So I'm going to share some information with you. Give me just a second. I'm a multitasker, but I am only so good as a multitasker. Here we go. So we asked everybody about their comfort in meeting in person. And as you'll see from this, that 80 members of our club responded that they are either moderately or very uncomfortable in meeting in person at this time. So that's 55%. And so I think we can agree that what's really important is that we keep our members safe and that we be cautious before we think about meeting in person. Now, as you remember, in the past, we have talked about that whenever we do meet in person, we will make sure that there's an electronic medium so that we can live stream and that we can record our meetings so that if you still are uncomfortable to meet with us, you will have that option. But I think seeing this information and the rise in COVID cases within our county, I think we can all agree that for right now, the safest and the smartest thing for us to do is to continue to meet virtually. So with that, I know that we will meet virtually for the rest of the month of August, so July and August. Now, I could try to be a fortune teller and predict what might happen in October or December, but I think we've all learned that with this pandemic, we never know what will happen. We think we have an idea and then things change. And so I think for our own safety, we know that for right now, we should meet virtually through July and through August. Now, we will probably survey you at other points in time in the year to see how you feel about this. In addition to that, we did learn a few other things. And so we did ask if people would be willing to reserve a spot in person, and 59% of you said yes, and another 31% said maybe. The other really interesting point is that we asked how important lunch is. Now, we're a noon Rotary meeting, right? And we will have lunch when we're back to normal. But however, if we start to meet in person, we may have to do it kind of slowly. And the food element of our meetings adds a whole nother level of complexity. And so it was actually good to see that 57% of our club said that really food is not at all important for us as we meet. We also asked if people have attended one of these Zoom Rotary meetings, and luckily 79% of those that answered did say yes. And it was kind of split. There's quite a large number of people who actually have watched the recordings of these meetings on YouTube, and that's a big plus. We also did ask people if you're on Facebook, and 67% of you said that yes, you are. Now, the reason we asked this is that Facebook Live is one of those electronic options for us as we move towards trying to actually meet in person. So that just gives you an idea of some of the results of that survey. Now, we all know that meeting in person is not quite as great, is much better than meeting virtually. You know, this is good, we can see each other, but we kind of miss that social aspect. And, you know, I did hear that in a number of comments, but I do think there's one comment from one member that I thought was really on the money. And this person said, I would like to see our club demonstrate compassion for our most vulnerable community members by putting their well-being ahead of our social desires. I think that's pretty accurate. Now, I want to remind you that all of you have downloaded Zoom to participate in this meeting. And that means that you actually have the ability to set up a Zoom meeting with some of your fellow Rotarians. And you could do that. You could have a coffee if you wanted to with those guys that you always sit at the table with and have lunch. Now, if you don't know how to do that, all you have to do is reach out to me or even Devin or others. We can help you set up a meeting so that you can visit face-to-face, although virtual, with some of your friends from Rotary. We'd be happy to help you with that. But, you know, a lot of Rotary is about volunteering. It's about giving back. And so it's a little more challenging to do that when we're meeting virtually. So I want to challenge you. There's two ways that you can have an impact. So the one way that you can do that is that you can do what Vern mentioned, right? You could contribute and support a family through the Ronald McDonald House. And that helps our For the Families golf outing. Now, I've even signed up to volunteer for the golf outing, even knowing that, you know, quite possibly it won't happen. Just like, you know, the Rose Bowl parade has been canceled, the Chicago Marathon has been canceled. You know, who's to say we're going to be able to do this? But we can still have an impact on all of those families by supporting the Ronald McDonald House charities. Now, the second challenge I have for you has to do with this. What is this? Why, it's simply a can of corn, right? But what that reminds us is that this is July. And in July, the area Rotary clubs compete in what is called Thanksgiving in July. And it is normally a food drive for community, which community used to be the shelter house, or not shelter house, crisis center, sorry. So once again, the 4 area Rotary clubs are all coming together to provide support for community. But this year, they are not accepting canned goods. Instead, what they are accepting is financial donations. And so I want to challenge all of us to try to think about, how can I support Ronald McDonald House? How can I support community? So I am going to share with you, I want to share with you yet another screen. So this is the community donation page. And so when you get your email today, you're going to have 3 links in it. You're going to have a link to the YouTube video. You're going to have a link to the Ronald McDonald House page where you can support a family. And you're going to have a link to this community page. Now, what I want to make sure that you do is that if you give online, I want you to come down to the bottom of the form, and in the area where it says additional information, I want to make sure that you list Iowa City Noon Rotary there, because that's the way that our club gets credit for your gift in this challenge between these other Rotary clubs. If you give a check, if you do it by a check, you can do so by simply writing Iowa City Noon Rotary on the memo line. Now, why is this so important? Well, frankly, the AM Club has consistently won this contest, and there is a golden turkey, and literally it is a fake turkey that's painted gold, and it gets to go to the club that has provided the most support. Well, our club has not had that golden turkey for some time. So I want to kind of put that challenge out to you. Let's see if we can have that get that golden turkey. If we win it, I promise that I will find place in either my work or my home office to display it proudly for the year that we are doing virtual meetings. So the challenge is on, and I know that's challenging for people like Gary Pasha, who's got one person in his household in the noon and one person in the AM, but we can do it. We can have an impact even though we're meeting virtually. So remember that, and watch for your email today and consider how you can provide that support. So with that, I am going to turn this over to Vern Folkman, who is going to introduce our speaker for today. Vern?
Thanks, President Barb. Today our program is going to be about the Boy Scouts of America. Before I introduce our speaker, I'm going to give you just a little history and very briefly. Before I became a Rotary member of this club, I was told that there was a plot of land owned by the Rotary Club in Coralville, which is now called Cardinal Road area or Cardinal Ridge or whatever you want to call it, up in that area. Beautiful place with a lot of trees, that was owned by our club, and what we was approached by the city of Coralville to sell it, which we did, and then we put the money in a trust fund. And the trust fund generates income every year, and we donate that to the Boy Scouts of America. And this has been about $2,500 per year that goes in our budget, but we actually get the money, so it's not a drain on the club. But I think the city now has built a shelter on this land, and the Boy Scouts still use it today. So today we want to recognize our speaker, Heather Lampe. And she's development director with the Hawkeye Area Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Heather and husband Chris have 2 sons, 11 and 7, and the whole family's involved in scouting. Heather has been a volunteer for the Scouts for many years before joining the staff about 2.5 years ago. They live in Marion, and the family enjoys spending time together outside in the great outdoors. So with that, I want to turn it over to Heather Lampe. Heather?
Great. Well, thank you, Vern, for that introduction. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm told my voice travels by my husband, and our home office is in the basement, just a few feet from each other. So we're trying to build a cubicle, or imaginary one anyway, when we're trying to both work from home with our boys. So I'm actually in the office today at the council office, headquartered in Cedar Rapids. So I just want to thank you for inviting me to speak at your club meeting today, and then I'm going to attempt to share my screen. We have a presentation here. Oops, let's see. There we go. Great. So today I just wanted to give you a little background information about who we are, who we serve in Eastern Iowa, as well as the impact when you give a gift to Friends of Scouting and to our organization. So first on this slide, on the left side is beautiful fall picture. We have a bigger print of this in our boardroom, and so on those dreary winter days, it's very nice to look at this. But this is a picture of our camp. The Hawkeye Area Council does own our 500-acre camp property, which is out of Central City, Iowa, and this happens to be a picture of the dining hall. On the right-hand side is a picture outside of our office here in Cedar Rapids, where we have our scout shop and our warehouse, which usually is home to a lot of camp and summer camp items, as well as popcorn in the fall. It is quite a warehouse and amazing process to see popcorn stacked to the ceiling in the fall. So what area do we cover? We're very similar to Kirkwood Community College, is how we like to describe our service territory. We cover 7 counties in eastern Iowa, including Johnson County. And of this territory, our counties are divided into 3 districts. So our northern district, which would be north of Cedar Rapids, starting around Robbins and Marion, that's 3 Rivers. And then we have our Cedar Rapids metro surrounding areas, including Vinton, and that's our Red Cedar district. And then Johnson County and your club fall into our old Capital Valley district, which is anything south of Cedar Rapids all the way to Washington County. And so of that territory, we serve on average 5,600 youth in eastern Iowa, and we have a rough estimate, but there's about 1,800 to 2,000 registered volunteer leaders in our organization. So one thing we like to communicate to everyone is just the accomplishments. What are our scouts and families doing in the community? What are we providing to scouts and youth in our community? So these are going to be 2019 highlights. We served, again, approximately 5,600 youth. Of that, almost 1,500 were from your district. Collectively, they did 28,000 service hours. So as some of you are familiar with, especially with the older ranks in our scouting organization, in order to advance to the next rank, our youth have to participate in so many service hours every year. And so we're really proud to see the different projects they do in the community. From the top picture, they're beautifying trails, nature centers and parks, to dog parks. We'll see that picture in a minute. And then our next service project, our largest one that we do as an organization, at the bottom right, is our Scouting for Food canned food drive. We do this every fall in time for Thanksgiving. And last year we hit a whole new record. Almost, it was 93,000 pounds of canned goods were collected from our scouts and volunteers in time for Thanksgiving meals. That served almost 78,000 meals to our local food pantries and HACAP. Of that Scouting for Food service project, almost 500 service hours were contributed from your district. So we're very proud of what our scouts are doing out there in the communities we serve. And as I mentioned, we do different things for the community, from the canned food drive to Eagle Scout projects as well, is included in that 28,000 service hours last year. In the top right is a picture of a recent Eagle project that was completed this year. It's a new dog park in Riverside. So we're very excited and proud of that young man who accomplished that project during this time. Last year we had 83 youth earn the highest rank that you can earn from the Boy Scouts of America, and that's the rank of Eagle. And in the bottom right here, you'll see a picture of littler youth, our little Cub Scouts. So these are elementary age scouts that are at Johnson County Fairgrounds for day camp. And so during a traditional year, we have summer camp opportunities, and in June we have day camp. So there's no overnight involved. It's kind of a drop them off during the day. They do all sorts of round robin activities outside, and then they go home before dinner. And so in Old Capital Valley, we would do that at the Johnson County Fairgrounds. And last year we had almost 300 youth participate at that location. So just, again, going to talk about our standard traditional programs, and then kind of morph into how we're redesigning them during this time. As everyone is experiencing, we've had to be very creative and think outside of the box to safely continue providing programs to our youth and their families right now. So during, again, a given year, we would have programs from outdoor ventures, as we mentioned, at camp and large group activities, science, technology, engineering, mathematics workshops. Last year in the fall, we had our first ever STEM workshop in conjunction with Kirkwood Community College, held in Coralville, and it was so successful. We were excited to offer it 3 times this year, was the plan, at each of our district locations. And of course, unfortunately, we did have to cancel our spring workshops, but we're hopeful we might be able to do something in the fall, or maybe change the format of that STEM workshop for the fall timeframe. All of our programs are built around leadership. Obviously, we're preparing our youth today to become the leaders of tomorrow in the communities that we serve. And so leadership training is a vital part of our organization. And when I get into describing the different levels of our programs, you'll see how it changes as the youth age. They are given more leadership opportunities based on skills of their age set. And then positive mentor relationships. This could be youth, older youth, step into leadership roles where they mentor some of the younger youth and help them learn some of their scout rank skills they need to learn to advance, as well as the adult volunteers that we have registered with our organization provide these positive mentor relationships with our youth. And then personal development and citizenship. Again, we do a lot with our communities in the terms of service projects. So our programs actually range for youth and young adults age 5 to 20. About 3 years ago, we opened up the program to little kindergartner kids, and it's a very fun program. They get a cute t-shirt, they're lions. And so that program obviously the curriculum's a little different. For instance, they might have a shorter meeting. They don't meet for quite an hour, and their activities are more age appropriate and geared to changing up the program every few minutes just to keep their interest levels there. So we're excited to offer to kindergarten age youth. So Cub Scouts is our elementary age program. So that's 5 to 10-year-old youth. And that is led by parents and adult leaders. So the parents run the program, they run the meetings, all the service projects, the camps that they go to and activities. It's very parent driven. And we're going to talk about that in a minute of how COVID has affected this program and what our council has done to help our parents right now. And then you go into our Scouts BSA program. This is for middle to high school age youth, and this is where you really start to see the leadership opportunities take form. The youth lead the meetings, the youth plan all their campouts, service projects, high adventure programs. They really are working towards that goal of EAGLE and becoming an independent leader. And then our 2 last programs are for our older youth. This is 14 to 20-year-old young men and women. Venturing is the best way to describe it is if a youth maybe is not quite interested in our traditional scouting program where you earn rank requirements and advancements, or we sometimes see where they have earned EAGLE and they still want to continue and they're not quite 18, they'll join a venturing crew. And the venturing crew offers more high adventure programs nationally and internationally. I want to say one of the crews recently went, recently being before 2020, I should say, went ziplining in Costa Rica, and some of them may go kayaking and doing some more high adventure type programs. And then exploring is more career based. This is for our 14 to 20-year-old youth who are looking to explore career opportunities, and they work with what we call a post at specific businesses to see, for example, Cedar Rapids Police Department, to see if they're interested in law enforcement. They would explore that post and work alongside those employees there. Scout Reach is something we're very excited to offer and continue to offer for many years now, and this is our at-risk youth program. And so again, during traditional year, we would meet after school with our partnering at-risk youth agencies that we work with for this program, and that would be Boys and Girls Club, Jane Boyd, Marion Cares, and in your district, we partner with the neighborhood centers of Johnson County to provide the scouting program to these youth, because a lot of times they do not have transportation to get to traditional scouting meetings. They may not have the financial means or the parental support at home. So we send our trained program aides to these agency sites to deliver the program and activities. And these pictures happen to be the meeting that I attended last fall. I think the kids were getting ready to learn about Thanksgiving and do some fun activities and crafts with that. And this was at Hills Elementary. So in Johnson County, they meet at Hills and Alexander for their program. Last year, we had almost 400 youth council-wide enrolled in this at-risk program. And in Johnson County, there were 120. So when this craziness hit March, we started reaching out to our unit leaders, who are generally parents or grandparents who are already involved with the program. And a lot of them are the parents that are trying to raise their families, work from home, navigate homeschooling and everything else that happened this spring. So we reached out to our unit leaders to see how they were doing, what needs they had, how they're staying connected to the families in their units. And then I started making individual calls to a lot of families. We did a sample survey to families as well, and then the personal phone calls just to see how everyone's doing, what needs they have. From those phone calls and the family surveys, we discovered that some families were already experiencing some challenges before this time, such as they live in rural areas in eastern Iowa, so they had limited access to our programs, transportation, and then some of them since COVID have unfortunately lost their jobs. Some are on reduced work schedules, and then there are a few families I talked to where both parents, or if it's a single family household, that parent are essential workers. So they're working very long hours, trying to stay safe, keep their family safe, and do all those things that everyone's doing during this time. So the council, we adapted our programs to respond to these needs of our families. And so we're trying to offer as much as we can so the parents don't have to necessarily run as many meetings, or we give them the tools to help them run those meetings, especially with the younger youth at home. That would be our Cub Scout program. So this is one of the newly designed programs we came up with for our Scouts BSA. So that's middle to high school age program. It's actually going on right now. So those youth work on what's called merit badges that helps them with their rank advancements. And so we're doing some virtual merit badge workshops similar to this meeting today. We'll do Zoom with youth, and then we'll do breakout sessions depending on how large the group is. And some of them are hybrid programs. So for instance, we have plumbing going on. Well, there's only so much plumbing you can do over Zoom, and our instructor kindly told me he's not going to solder for one of the demonstrations using Zoom. So we were a little creative with that one and did the workshops online, and then he's going to have some smaller groups come out to our warehouse and outdoor area to do the hands-on activities that they'll need to do to finish that particular merit badge. So this program, the Scouts choose what they want to work on. Some of these are going to be Eagle required, some are regular merit badges, and some are adventures out at camp. Like many organizations, unfortunately, we did have to close our camp this year. We canceled all our traditional programs. We unfortunately had to let our seasonal camp staff go for this year, so we were not able to hire them. So there's some activities we still can do at camp that are more self-guided, or we have some volunteers that can help with that. And so that's what this program is offering, such as geocaching, hiking, fishing. Those are activities you can still do safely, social distance, and again, have some volunteers to help staff those areas for us at camp. So that's our Scouts BSA summer program since our resident camps were canceled. So the picture earlier with the little guys in the orange shirts, that's our day camp program, and that would generally take place in June. Obviously, we were closed. Our camp facility was closed in June. So was Johnson County Fairgrounds and Wickiup Hill, which was our other location. So we brought camp to these kids. Stay camp, these were activity kits and camp kits that were sent directly to their homes where they could pick them up from our office. And every week in June, they had a different theme they worked on. And then they could tune in at noon to listen to Lunch and Learn guest speakers. So for instance, Science Matters, we had a chemistry professor who's a longtime scouter do a demonstration safely from his basement. And so the kids could have that opportunity to see that and still do some hands-on activities. So they're not in front of the computer all day either, getting the Zoom fatigue that so many of us have experienced this time. Earlier I mentioned Scout Reach is an after-school program. So we're already thinking about how that might look this fall. Of course, a lot of us are waiting for those big announcements to come. And in the meantime, if we are not able to do in person, we are going to offer these stay camp kits to our Scout Reach youth. So we're working on getting some donors and sponsors to help fund these kits for us. And we're gonna reformat them a little bit because the traditional stay camp, you do need more parental involvement to help finish the activities. And as I mentioned, one of the barriers for our at-risk youth, they may not have that support at home. So we're gonna look at some more self-guided activities, non-perishable snacks, because a lot of these youth are on the free and reduced lunch program, and give this to them at no cost so they can still have an opportunity to do some of our activities safely from home. The other thing that we're looking into, we want to roll out sometime this fall, is STEM take-home kits. So there was a need that we discovered actually even before this all happened. As I mentioned before, we do serve a lot of rural families that have limited access to supplies, and maybe they have difficulties getting to meetings and things like that. So we want to bring STEM to the families. And so we have 61 elementary age packs in our entire console, and we would like to get these STEM totes. And each grade level has specific activities that would help these Cub Scouts work on rank advancements. And we would have these totes at the unit level or the pack level, and then the leaders can check them out on a rotational basis to families. So families will have all the supplies they need. They won't have any out-of-pocket expense for this, and they can safely complete these projects at home. So that's kind of a future project that we've been working on and hoping it will come to fruition very soon with that. Some other ways that we've responded to our families' needs right now, as I mentioned earlier, especially with the little elementary age Cub Scouts, these parents are trying to work from home and stay safe and raise young children and homeschool. Sometimes it's hard for them to host a meeting. So we have our Scouting from Home webpage, and this has, in the bottom right, you'll see an example of a YouTube video for Cub Scouts. So the council created these videos where they do a Scout opening ceremony, a quick 10-minute science demonstration with household items. They hopefully have common household items at home to complete these projects. And so we were providing these videos for our Scout families and leaders. We also have on the bottom left here, you'll see the little tiger, that's first grade, our Tiger Challenge activity calendar. Excuse me, so they could work on some rank requirements and have fun too, and then fill out this activity calendar. And it was something just, again, to give parents an option this summer to work on activities safely from home. We also had a virtual camp out, first time for that in April, and there was some information about that on the Scouting from Home webpage, as well as we provided some Zoom tutorial information for our leaders who maybe aren't familiar with using that, and that way they could get familiar to help them run their unit meetings. So obviously all these programs, like everything else, there's expense involved when running our programs. So these are 2019 numbers. Last year we saw, and this is what you really want to see on a pie chart, 92% of our expenses went directly back to unit support. So that's supporting our units, Scouts, and their families with the programs that we provide. 5% was for fundraising and 3% administration. The projected budget numbers were approved in December, so this is earlier this year, so these numbers obviously have changed since then, but we were projecting we're about a $1.4 million organization. How we're funded, we are a very popcorn dependent council. We're one of the most popcorn dependent, I want to say, in this region. So a lot of our revenue comes in from popcorn sales. Traditionally, the Scouts and their units keep about a third of those sales, and then it goes from there, about a third back to the council, and a third is returned to our popcorn company. So our Scouts worked very hard in the fall with popcorn. That was 37% of our revenue. Friends of Scouting, which is how the Rotary, how you guys help support us, that's our general operating fund. So all the programs I've talked about, from Scout Reach to the camps to STEM, that all falls under Friends of Scouting. So that's 26% of our revenue. And then again, in a given year, summer camp and then group camping at our campsites that our units could do, that would be 22% of our revenue. And then we have kind of this miscellaneous other activities, 15%. That also includes grants, support from foundations, maybe a revenue generating event that's not quite a fundraiser, just something where we do charge an amount or admission fee, that would go in that other category as well. So again, this is Scouting. This is who we are at the Hawkeye Area Council. These are the amazing youth that we serve, and this is what your support goes to. So I just wanted to, again, thank you for continuing to support us and make a difference. And I welcome and encourage any questions you may have at this time.
Barb, you're muted.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Heather. Do we have any questions at all? Devin, if you want to, maybe we could stop sharing that. Does anybody have a question for Heather? All right. It looks like we don't.
Nope.
So Heather, I want to let you know that we really appreciate your time that you have taken to talk to us today. And in your honor, our club will actually donate $10 to Rotary International's Polio Plus programming. And so what that does, that donation is actually then matched 2-to-1 by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. And so by you appearing today, there will actually be 70 vaccines for polio distributed in this world by Rotary. So thanks to you and thanks to our club for that generosity, but we really do appreciate your time and we appreciate everything that you are doing for our area youth. I applaud your efforts to kind of think outside the box, to think about what you can do for those kids who are staying home. I love the idea of the STEM kits. If I had little kids, I would totally want one of those, but instead I have a college-age engineering kit, so I just give them bigger projects. So, but thanks again, we really appreciate it. So if there is no other business before the club, I invite everyone to unmute your microphones and to join me in the 4-way test of all the things that we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill?
Will and better friendship? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
So thank you all. If you haven't signed in, please make sure you do so before you leave today. And I hope you have a wonderful week. So, and with that, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Well, you could tell that scout lady had given that presentation before. Boy, she had that down.
She did.
Slick.
Yeah.